Welcome to Direct Mobiles and our first look at the iPhone XS, the iPhone XS Max and the iPhone XR. There's a lot to cover here, so let's get started straight away with the iPhone XS, which is the follow-up to the iPhone X released last year. We have the familiar design here, of course, with a notch on the top of the 5.8-inch OLED Super Retina HDR display with a 2436 by 1125 resolution. It's available in three sizes. As Apple likes to put it, you have 64GB, 256GB or the huge 512GB options. And as with the iPhone X, we have the familiar colours of space grey and silver to choose from. We also get a new gold colour too. The improvements here over the iPhone X from last year are essentially, well, incremental improvements across the board. These will make the phones a bit faster, both in normal use and when unlocking the device using Apple's impressive face unlocking technology, Face ID. Battery life is slightly improved over the iPhone X, though only slightly, and stereo speaker quality is improved too. It's worth mentioning that Apple is also extremely proud of its A12 Bionic chip and the impressive power it brings to keep everything moving along with serious pace, claiming it's significantly faster than the A11 Bionic chip, which we saw in last year's iPhone X. There's also good news for the accident prone too, as the iPhone XS has IP68 levels of water and dust resistance. You'll also notice improved camera technology too, which we know is a big deal to a lot of you. Here's what the camera setup looks like on the XS. Dual 12 megapixel cameras on the back, an f1.8 wide angle lens and an f2.4 telephoto lens, dual optical image stabilization. You can shoot 4K video at up to 60 frames per second. Over on the front, the 7 megapixel camera means that you can get better selfies than ever before, and it has an f2.2 wide angle lens and you can shoot 1080p video at up to 60 frames per second. Now, any larger version of an iPhone has up until now been called the Plus version. The most recent example was the iPhone 8 Plus from last year. Well, Plus branding is no more, it seems. The larger version of the iPhone XS is the iPhone XS Max. The OLED display on offer here measures in at 6.5 inches and is Apple's biggest smartphone display ever. You'll be able to choose from the same storage options and color options as the iPhone XS. If you want the ultimate iPhone and size is no issue, this is it. Both of these phones have 458 ppi True Tone displays, 3D touch, all very impressive. Next up, the final of this trio of new iPhones is the iPhone XR. This is the perfect option if you want to keep your spending under control while still getting an all-new iPhone experience. Instead of an OLED display, as you get with the XS and the XS Max, you get an LCD display. Apple is calling it Liquid Retina, and although the pixel count is lower than the other two phones revealed here at 326 ppi, it should still be very impressive. Size-wise, it actually sits between the XS and the XS Max, with the display at 6.1 inches. Apple has shown the phone off in some beautiful colours too, specifically black, white, red, yellow, coral and blue. The iPhone XR has IP67 water and dust resistance, and you get the A12 Bionic chip here, so again the device is expected to be nice and fast. Now on the back, you only get the one camera lens, but we don't think that this should worry you at all, for two reasons. Firstly, Apple says that it's the most advanced single lens setup ever created. We've seen in the past what brands like Apple and Sony for that matter have managed to achieve with one lens, and it's impressive. So what do we have here on the iPhone XR? Well, 12 megapixel wide angle lens camera with an f1.8 aperture. Fortunately, we also get optical image stabilization, which is great news. You'll still be able to get those beautiful creamy blurred out backgrounds that we associate with expensive DSLR cameras. Smart HDR again makes an appearance, and you can shoot 4K video at up to 60 frames per second. On the front, you'll find a 7 megapixel camera with an f2.2 aperture. Portrait mode is there with the advanced bokeh that we've been hearing about too. So we have to say, our first impressions are that Apple seems to have ticked all the boxes here. I'll be doing full reviews of this phone, comparing them to the best from Samsung and Huawei and others, so hit the notification bell and subscribe. Cheers guys, I'll see you next time, and remember, whichever phone you choose, find it at Direct Mobiles, over 23 years of award-winning customer service.